In a world, a multiverse, not too far away from now, or away from us, there is a Jane Foster who fights cancer, losing the battle. A Thor that is missing his left arm chooses never to come back to Asgard, sending Odinson into madness, sending the All-Mother to prison. Chaos erupts in Asgard. Asgard. But then after that, Mjolnir chooses Jane Foster to become the Mighty Thor to fight Odinson's madness. Jane Foster, realizing she is no match for Odinson, seeks the aid of the most unlikely of all allies, Loki. Strikes a deal with him, but then betrayed at the end. When Loki stabs Odinson in the back, Jane Foster is then teleported to Multiverse 616. And then she sees Thor. Nothing happens. The only interaction you get is them putting their little hammers together. Wonder Twin power activate! And that's about it, everyone. That's it. That's all you get from this whole thing. Large intro, nothing with it. You don't get anything more than just that. There's no interaction between any of the heroes. She doesn't interact with Thor, despite the fact that with the movie coming up soon and the whole ex-girlfriend, high school is like, oh, well, she broke up with me, like so-and-so years, so-and-so days, with so-and-so minutes and seconds, like in the movie. That's the only reason why they decided to add Jane Foster into the whole mix, because of the movie. It's just around the corner practically. It's 2 weeks from now, and when they brought in Jane Foster, the Mighty Thor, you know what? Here's the thing. I know what you're all going to think. Well, maybe you're just biased because it's a female version of Thor, and you can't stand them taking or putting in a character that takes the spotlight away from Thor. No, it's got nothing to do with that. I'm completely not that kind of person. I like using Black Widow, Kate Bishop, and maybe Kamala, but not that much. But I had absolutely no problem with a female Thor coming in to the mix. But I do have a problem with the fact that it took 7 to 8 months since the last major update, and I'm talking last major update PlayStation. Xbox really didn't get any, because, Xbox only has 10 heroes now, and PlayStation now has 11. But since the last major update, this is the best they could come up with. Cut and paste Thor, and all they did was add boobs and a female voice and automatically try to package it off as something completely and totally different from what it originally came from. It's crap. I'm sorry, Crystal Dynamics, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, this guy is an ungrateful piece of crap. No, I'm not trying to be ungrateful or anything. I invest in your game, believe it or not. I bought it, physical format on both PlayStation and Xbox. I've spent numerous amounts of credits for the cosmetics of several, which, by the way, they're a little too expensive. I don't think $20 per skin should be the price range for these characters, especially during this crisis of economic instability that we're going through right now. But that's just me. And I know that a lot of people are going to say, well, they have half-off specials. Yeah, but that's with certain events. Right now, if you go to the marketplace within the game, Captain America's half off, and only because the 4th of July is just around the corner. In the beginning, it was Thor because of the whole Jane Foster thing coming in, but it's only limited time. They only give you like about a week to come up with either the funds or come up with the credits. That's crap too. Way too expensive for the cosmetics. Also, there is no real story arc within the whole Jane Foster update, and I thought that was kind of unfair and misleading and very what's the word I want to use, neglectful on Crystal Dynamics' part in doing something like that, because you see, when you take that amount of time, it's 1/3 of what a triple aim game developer studio takes to make a whole full-featured game. Let's just look at Call of Duty games. I know what you're going to say. Activision is not the same as Crystal Dynamics. I don't care. A developer is a developer. by any other name, it's still the same thing. But 7 to 8 months is 1/3 of what it would take a AAA developer to make a whole game. Okay, Activision is constantly spitting out new content. You know, you got their seasons, you got their skin bundles, or their weapons blueprint bundles, and all that stuff. They come up with that stuff in a bit. Like, they're greedy, but thanks to that greed, it forces them to become creative, and that's a good thing, I guess. Not the amount of, you know, the price of how much they ask, but in terms of creativity and incentive, yeah, that's a good thing. But apparently Crystal Dynamics doesn't follow that same business arc, whatever you want to call it, and this is what you get. And the most you get, if you want to get a different cosmetic for Jane Foster, is just that other Thor costume, that other Mighty Thor costume that she has, where her eyes are blacked out. She has a full helmet kind of thing going on there. That's about it. 900 credits. I know it's not much. It's pretty good, I guess, for, you know, whatever you want to call it. But, you know, when the movie comes out, do expect to be charged the full 1,400 credits for that. But there is nothing that was brought in with Jane Foster. There were no cutscenes. There were no specified missions that had anything to do with her story. There was nothing there. Even Spider-Man has more of that than Jane Foster. When you look at it in a whole, the base game only had just Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, and Black Widow. But then they started rolling in the updates, and you got Kate Bishop first, and then Hawkeye, and then lastly Black Panther for all consoles in general. And then the last major update was Spider-Man for the PlayStation. But Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, and Black Panther have their own tile story arcs within the menu screen when you're picking to either play Avengers Assemble or the multiplayer version of it. It has those three right there: Kate Bishop, Hawkeye, and Black Panther. And even they have campaigns and they have a story to follow. Spider-Man does too. They screwed up with the fact that they didn't add a tile specifically for Spider-Man, but even then you do find him at the helicarrier, and there is a huge interaction between him and Kamala and Captain America and Black Widow. There's cutscenes, there's cinema scenes, there's specified missions according to the story. That's what's cool. But with Jane Foster, you don't get any of that. There's nothing of that for her. They brought in a super cheap character just to shut people up. Don't think that they did this just because of the movie coming around the corner. No, not just because of that. But because it was a way of keeping people quiet over many complaints about the game. When are you going to bring more villains? When are you going to bring another Omega threat level mission? When are you going to bring in another raid? Why do we have to keep fighting AIM? Why do we have to keep fighting Claw? Why, you know, that's what it was. That's what it was. Because the game came out in 2018. It's 2022. That's a whole 4 years. The game's still, you know, going strong. It really is. I play it all the time. But it's 4 years of the same villains. 4 years of the same Omega threat level. Same raid with Claw coming back. It's the same thing over and over and over again. And this just shows that Crystal Dynamics really doesn't care about the game. Not only do they not care about the game, but they also don't care about the community that have been supporting them since then. This really speaks poorly about Crystal Dynamics. It really does. It really does. There's a lot of things within this whole thing that, and I said things a lot, sorry. But there are lots of topics that I would like to cover over all of this when it comes to Avengers. And I only tapped a couple right now, but there are a lot. And since I really don't want to make this video very long, all I have to say is that it was a complete waste of our time. It was overly hyped just for a douchey cut and paste version of Thor with boobs. That's really what it was. If you don't believe me, go ahead and try it out yourself. If you have it on the PlayStation and you know what I'm talking about when I try to compare Jane Foster to Spider-Man, you're going to see why I say it. And to everybody else in general, don't believe me. Go ahead and try it out for yourself. Don't be a what's that rodent that follows everybody off the cliff? Don't be a lemming, and just because it's Avengers, be blind to the fact that the developers really aren't trying hard at all. Because they're not. They're not really trying hard. If they took 7 to 8 months because they're making new villains and new levels, and because of the upcoming She-Hulk, because of the TV series coming out also on Disney, because of Winter Soldier supposedly rumored to come out, because of War Machine also rumored to come out, because of Captain Marvel also rumored to come out, or not Captain Marvel but Mrs. Marvel rumored to come out, but they have all that stuff there, then okay, maybe. And that's a really big maybe, because they still didn't do anything for Jane Foster. She deserved better than this. That character, who's a cancer survivor, according to the story, the actual comic book story, she deserved better than just that. Just a hero challenge card that you have to pay 1,000 credits to unlock, and one cosmetic. But nothing to go along with it, no story, no campaign, no interactions, no cutscenes, nothing. She deserved better than that. And I don't know, I'm just very disappointed. I'm very disappointed in Crystal Dynamics, and it's not the first time that I feel this way. Maybe on another follow-up video to the Avengers, I'll explain why it is that I say that this was just one of many disappointments that I have. But, you know, let me know what you think. Did you enjoy the very short-lived, I can't say campaign because it wasn't a campaign or quest, the very short-lived hype of Jane Foster, aka the Mighty Thor? Did you enjoy it? And if you didn't, please leave a reason why in the comments down below. If you liked this video and you found it insightful and at least a breath fresh air of having someone with an unbiased opinion, unlike all those other YouTubers that talk about this topic, who seem to be in Crystal Dynamics payroll just to hype up the game and make it look good, please share it with other people who are like-minded, and subscribe, please. You know, it'll help out someone who's unbiased of video games and video game topics, and it really would help if you would. But until then, have fun with the game, enjoy it, but also let your voices be heard. You know, podcast it, blog about it, post videos about it. Make sure that you put the Crystal Dynamics Avengers YouTube mentioned in the description, so that way they see that there's a lot of people out there who are unhappy with the way they're doing things. I know that they're going through a lot of BS with Square Enix because of a lot of other things I heard about what's going on with them, but you know, still, I mean, if Square Enix won't support their developer, which is Crystal Dynamics, if they do their jobs right and they actually focus on the fans will take care of them, to where the publisher, that is Square Enix, doesn't seem to. But thanks a lot for watching anyways, and yeah, just have fun with the game.